All right, we are live. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Bergen, and today we're here for another trading stream. Okay, relaxed one today. A bit tired, but I'm ready to look at the charts. Not much is too much. Not too much change since last stream. Again, it was only Tuesday, so we've kind of moved a bit more. It kind of, in my opinion, the last kind of line. Obviously, I talked about it in the OG chat a tiny bit. How many minutes ago, whatever it was, an hour ago, whenever. But again, obviously, we'll go into it in great detail in a minute when we go to the charts and actually look at what's going on. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. Hopefully, you guys have had a nice day so far. If it's in the morning, wherever you live in, all this sort of stuff. You're doing great. I've been doing well. Last stream yesterday was great. That was a tense quiz. I don't know if you were there for it. That was really, really good. And obviously we've got some new people, which is nice. Obviously doing one next Wednesday as well on Core AI, just to keep people updated on that as well. Very, very, very tense that was. I don't know, some of you here might have played that. Obviously yesterday, it was proper tense at the end. That was fun. I think it was tiring, but aren't they fun? They are fun. But anyway, let me happen. 107.4 right now. Not too much, crazy movement since we've hit the main area above us. In my opinion, anyway, we've not really moved from there. On the lower time frames, we are moving. Obviously, as it cascades upwards, it will play its course through. The closer we get to, the more time we spend going down, obviously it will cascade onto the higher and higher time frames. So on the 1 hour, I believe, maybe the 4 hour, I can't remember which one exactly. We are starting to print below some lows and start to come down a bit. So depends on if this is, obviously we'll get into the details in a second, but 105 nonetheless on Bitcoin. 0.23 on the 1 hour doesn't really matter because it's like 3 minutes ago, but you might be able to see about 24 hour. We have not done a single thing. We've moved more in Tether. We've moved more on a stable coin than the 24 hour. We literally haven't done a single thing all day, which is quite funny. Literally, we've done more on USD. We've moved more in the dollar. The dollar has moved more than Bitcoin, percentage wise. So if you opened a long or a short right now, 24 hours ago, you wouldn't have made a single penny. You probably lose actually from the what's it called, the funding rate. When you have to get charged for every, depending on what leverage you do, you'd actually have lost money no matter what you've done. If you're long or short, you'd both be losing money. That is how little Bitcoin has moved on the 24 hour, which is lovely to see for Bitcoin. 0.3% or 3% up a 7 day. Obviously a bit of a move up, but particularly anything. Similar on Ethereum as well, 2400. And again, this was like 24 hours ago, so I can only really comment on the move between Tuesday to Wednesday and all that in between, because since Wednesday till now, or in the period between basically yesterday night when we were doing the stream, or when we just finished up the stream, and now we haven't moved a single thing basically. So only a tiny bit of movement in most of this. Even on a 7 day, we were down 3%, so not much. Again, you can kind of see on the right hand side, we've had a bit of a move up. This whole thing, you can see the whole, it's tiny, I know. It's been recorded. What I do need to do actually, I haven't done that yet. I need to shimmy the stream over my screen. Hopefully I don't get, okay, it's behind me. I don't want it to be behind me. Let's pretend that's not there. Okay, there you go. Shh, that didn't happen. We're professional in Crypto Warehouse, okay? We don't do this sort of stuff. I'm gonna try to do this. We'll edit it because I know you can't see the prices on the right hand side, all this sort of stuff, and you can't see the coin. I've also moved it wrong. There we go. Just there we go. That should be good now. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, on the right hand side, you can see we'll get into it obviously when we get to the charts. I haven't done my timer. I just realised. Let's hold on. Wait. Let's take away a few minutes. All right, let's do like 5 minutes. Yeah, let's just do take away 5 minutes or something like that. There we go. So on the right side, you can see we've done a bit of a move up. We've come right back down. So probably no different. I can't remember the exact price I looked at when we looked at it on Tuesday, but no difference there. And then Solana 141, very similar price. You can see this is actually even come down a tiny bit. I think Solana. I can't remember exactly everything I said. Also, I've had a message from the higher ups that my chart is still, even though a bit better than it was quite a while ago when it was black and white. It's still very hard to see, so I'm trying it because I know I was on black and white, then I switched to this pink and yellow, and you know what? The reason I switched away from it because it made me feel ill, because the background was it was this blue weird stuff, and I just didn't enjoy looking at the chart because it was horrible color. So I went back to clear just to do my own thing and went back to white. But I've also receive the same message of it's just harder to look at. So I have put it on this like black and blue thing. It's a bit black. It might not be this might not how it might stay, but you know, I'm going to have to redraw some things. I'm on a different profile, so I might have to redraw some certain things we looked at. But that's okay, because you know, it was literally like 2 days ago, so it should be pretty easy. In terms of wins and losers, I'm very interested because there might not be that much. Yeah, there's not that much. Apart from the occasional thing, majoritively stable coins here. You know, bit of gold, DX, BitGet token, Bitcoin Cash, KuCoin. It's not really much, and even when it is something in terms of significance, it's like 0.22%, so like 0.15, so really not much. I did not want to click onto that. There we go. And you can see a lot of people losing right now. Again, I think it's mainly because of the fact that we've really hit our threshold today. And I'm now going to segue onto Bitcoin because of, again, I'm even finding it hard to look at the numbers, so I might change some of these colors. It's very hard to see this white. I might have to make it white because it's very hard to see. They're proper white. Is that even better? I don't even know. Maybe it's me. Maybe I just can't see it. What's blue? Blue's horrible. Let's just stick to white. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, let's zoom in a bit because it's hard to see everything that's going on. So I did talk a bit in the Telegram. I'm going to delete this so I can redraw it in a minute and we can get back onto it. I want to delete all this so I can talk about it in a second because it's just taking up the screen. So, okay, here we go. So this is kind of what we had last stream, Tuesday. Okay, this is what we already covered in our whole process. Okay, it was this whole shenanigans going on here. So on the 4 hour, my main thing was, okay, this is an interesting high. We have this high of interest, and then we have this area above us with this one and this main gap. It covered this entire thing. I talked about this mainly, but this is the main. This is what formed it basically, because obviously we had this whole thing going on up here. We formed this order block with this candle coming above this high and then recovering in this next candle. So this candle here is the resistance, and then we had this propulsion block here, which I was looking at yesterday because we were back here, you know, so I was either looking at here or looking at here at the process. But the highest one, because again, this was the start of the move down, or obviously we could look at it from here, but on the higher time frames anyway, this was, well, to be fair, we probably should draw it from there. I could probably draw it from there, but regardless, you know what? Even, you know, just to shimmy it up, just to show that this would be the gap. But I'm going to keep it there because it was what I drew on the 4 hour for this gap. Because we probably should go up there, but shush, okay, shush, close your mouth. So other than that, this was the start of this whole like move down from this high to this low, trailing this. So we, you know, moving this whole thing, we hadn't really got above the middle point. We hadn't really stopped. You know, this is when we hit the significant low. You know, looking back from all these previous lows we had, especially over here in this whole process here, coming past all this and then coming back upwards again. So it was kind of this, okay, cool, we've printed past this low. And all these lows we've printed past. So already off the bat, you already know. If you hear Tuesday, you already know what I'm feeling anyway. But we've already come past all this malarkey going on down here with this move, looking to retrace. Okay, cool. But on the lower time frame, as I did mention on Tuesday, we were looking to come towards this high. Either we had a wick above it or we printed. Obviously, it was during this process. I was interested in this gap here, especially. Obviously, this is definitely above this midline here. Is it ugly if I make this red? I'm still messing with the styling. It's horrible red. Is it nice blue? It's horrible blue. I can make it yellow maybe. Yellow's not bad. I'll still. Ooh, do I make it red? Blue. Okay, I don't know about blue because it's a bit too much blue. Yellow's not bad. I'll do yellow and blue. I'll do yellow. So anyway, the midline here. This is obviously focusing on, since we're in a downtrend, in the move down, looking to find the low and then retrace back above this 103.6 mark and find something above us to you know, take out. And obviously this was drawn on the daily, so this is kind of like, you know, you're looking at on the daily case anyway. There's not really much. Obviously maybe this high or looking at coming from this area. Where is my box? There it is. Looking at this. This kind of, I've lost the word, not anchor, rejection block. I don't know my words, I'm tired. Okay, I'm going to be a bit slower to the stream. But yeah, on the daily and with this anchor, you can see, rejection block, not anchor. Obviously coming from a period of interest, obviously whether that be the whole rejection from this candle, or mainly this, looking at this gap, and just coming up. Obviously on lower time frames, there are areas within this area, which we came to on the 16th of June, daily candle. But you can see as well, as we formed it, we can see the midline is about here, which we came to roughly, you know, $100 away within this high. So this is a very good rejection block. So there's kind of this cascading. I'll delete it for now because we already have something. So if it's not only this resistance we've got also coming from this high, you can see this high coming above this and then retracing, which then on the higher time frame had this. You can see this form focusing on this gap, especially at this print from roughly the midline. So definitely a lot of areas of interest within this kind of area we were already sitting at within 108k, whatever it is exactly. So looking to you know, on both time frames, looking at there basically. Now the main thing as well is on the daily is, if you really look at it, it's like, okay, cool, this you could probably attribute the 109k line. I should probably shimmy this up because this is the start of the move down, so I should probably leave it there, to be fair. But this whole thing anyway, regardless of where it is the high. You can see for the obvious highs in terms of what we definitely have this area coming down, or this. I'll do. Everyone does this. I know they do this. I don't draw this. Oh, there's a tool in there. Here we go. New tech. We're doing new tech today. Okay, it's black. I can't see anything. I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay, let's just. Okay, I'm not doing this. I'm doing it my way. All right, it's my way. I don't care. So yeah, doing this. You know. You know what I mean, though? Like that, these are where the obvious moves are, you know. So, but to be fair, you know, on the daily, it's like we haven't really, you know, printed past this low, on terms of the wick anyway. But you know, we already know this on the weekly. I mean, again, I've already talked about the weekly. We'll get on to the weekly. You know what? No, I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. We'll get there in a second. But yeah, in terms of lows, especially on the 4 hour, we can clearly see this has printed below lows. So there's you know. I'm not trying to be picky or choosy with it. I've just turned my camera on to blue. Hold on, let me just do this quickly to make it not do that. There we go. I'm not trying to be picky and choosy. But okay, well on the 4 hour we're doing this, but on the daily we're doing this, and I'm just gonna get what, you know. I'm not trying to get I'm not trying to be biased where I'm picking and choosing what I talk about. But you know, things cascade, things happen. I mean, what it looks like on the daily anyway is a really nice, you know, move below this low anyway. But I suppose, you know, it's like technically this is. It depends where you look at it from. It's like, okay, well, these are the low areas. We haven't really printed below this low, but I suppose we have had a print below of the bodies, or I believe is a change in state of delivery, whatever the term is. I know there's different terms for everything. So there is that to look at on daily, but in terms of the 4 hour, we have had a true print. So just to kind of point that out. So focusing on that, it's then, okay, cool. Well, we've already had this move. If we're in a downtrend, this is our external. We then want to look for something. What am I doing? Wow, there we go. Something within here which is going to be of resistance. Well, looking at it, there wasn't really that much, you know, within this. There wasn't, you know, many gaps. There were highs. Definitely, this was one of the areas for me. The next one was definitely this rejection block. From there. Maybe the recovery of this candle, but again, we didn't really come into anything interesting over here for this candle to be an order block per se. For this one, the 4 hour, though, obviously we had this previous high, which you can see where there's massive wick up and then obviously moved down, which then we printed above here with this. So this was definitely something, for me anyway, where it was definitely a order block. There's previous highs here, which I suppose we could do a thingamajig of in terms of moving above it with a wick and not printing above it and then having a big retracement downwards. There is that at a maximum, but definitely if it wasn't this high, it was definitely the next step up, which was this. So it's then looking for, okay, within the last move on the outside of things, we've obviously had this this here, which obviously we've printed past. So this is the external, obviously looking for something now behind us, this high or this resistance. So looking at this to see, okay, cool, if we can start to reverse from this area. And that's obviously, I know I've given a lot of spiel on, which if you heard Tuesday, you probably have heard everything I've already just said, but now we're actually going to start to move on to things which are new, which if I go to the 1 hour, we can now start to see what's going on. So if we start to look, we can see, obviously, this is us moving upwards, and then this is our high. We didn't really have a high higher than this in terms of a print. But you can see we start to print higher in terms of these lows. So we have these high lows. So in terms of the last low we had before we printed down, we had this area here, which obviously we have printed through. If we go to some lower time frames, you know, we can start to see it a bit closer. This is the whole move upwards, this move, and then we obviously had this move up out here. So you could probably even put it on this low, you know, whichever one it is exactly. Again, it's not fully pinpointed. We have had a candle move above this one. So this is, you know, starting to move up in terms of within these candles. So looking at this low, we can obviously, we can see we've printed past it. If we start to kind of look at us coming into these areas here, for these little like gaps we've got going on. I know it's all blue. I'm sorry, it's hard to see. Let's make this like I don't want to do yellow. I don't do that either. I don't want to do white. Okay, we'll do white for now, whatever. Just to make it just a slight bit easier. But you know what I mean, though? Like in terms of, okay, come from the high to the low, or like this high, like whatever you want to draw it at. Probably this high, to be fair. Trailing the low, you know, we can see, okay, cool. Looking back, we have this candle. We obviously can see actually, it's a bit high. To be fair, it was a bit high in terms of there. So it's just about, I should probably go to the 15 minutes to look at it, though. You can see it's pretty much on the nose in terms of that move. And then obviously you can see we came into an interesting area with this, and then we recovered the entire thing. So I don't like doing every candle. I just do the first candle body, which came into the area of interest. Obviously, recovering that. We've now started to come into this area, have a bit of resistance. Again, also came back into this candle. So we're kind of having this whole move going on. Definitely going to be a bit of support down here, though. Not saying it's going to be super strong, but this massive, if I draw this quickly, there we go. A massive rejection block here at this midpoint. I definitely think we'll have support there. But again, this is starting to get a bit nitpicky on the 15 minutes. But I don't want to keep this on the 4 hour because it's going to start to look really messy. You know, it's not that bad, actually. It's not that bad. Even, you know what, this is even bigger, actually, to be fair. Now I'm looking at it. You can see we're definitely going to have a tiny bit of support here from this whole move. We can probably see a bit of this candle. You can see we came past these lows with this candle, and then we recovered the entire thing. As you can see within this, we did definitely have a bit of support within this whole move, and obviously we're starting to come. So we've got a bit of a fight in between. We're definitely putting a bit of support, but the main resistance to focus on, again, this is a 4 hour here as well, is going to be this previous resistance I have here. So again, we're definitely, you know, with every resistance, I'm not, you know, not every single resistance is permanent. You know, it's guaranteed to hold as resistance, because again, if every order block was guaranteed to hold, or everything I found in my charts was guaranteed to hold, it's like, what's the point? Why would I, you know, what's the point of less risk management? You know, it's like nothing's ever going to be perfect. So it's kind of mitigating losses, or not losses per se, but obviously just being careful. Okay, not everything's perfect in charts, but at what we have, we definitely have this higher time frame, you know, point of interest for this resistance, which you can see if we go to low time frames. We haven't really got anywhere above this midline once with our candle bodies, or we haven't really done anything. We've wicked up into it and then came right back down. You can see got close to it, wicked up into it, came back down, formed a rejection block. You can see we came to the midpoint of this rejection block as well. So just cascading resistance on the 30-minute here, and then came down again. Pretty much identical. What is this I have? Order block, right. Well, it's an order block, but it's also, if we go to the 30 minutes, also we have a rejection block here. You can see we came towards the midpoint with this wick. So there's a lot of resistance we're having on the way down from what we have here. So, you know, I definitely think we're starting to build the move down. And also with you know, it's not head and shoulders per se, but especially market moves which go from positive to negative, there's definitely that sense of coming to the high and then producing a new low. And then with what, you know, is, I know, not saying is common, but is something which people use in their strategy. I know I've looked at different strategies, you know, just like, you know, across the board. I know one of the ideas of like a market maker model, which is basically just a head and shoulders. And basically in the move down, from what I see very commonly with what's the word? I'm tired. I said it in the intro. I'm gonna forget a lot of words. In terms of the strategy, if you will. One of the things which was very common to look for was the move down, which produced not saying the candle, but the move down, to look for a gap in that move down, which then results in a move back up into it, and then you continue downwards. So this is one of the things, I think it's like market maker, sell model, whatever, you know, just one of the names for it. But I think there's a few strategies which use this, which is to look for kind of this semi head and shoulders thing, which kind of produces this gap in the move down, which then gets kind of came back into it, and then you start to move down in your process and print past these lows and all this sort of stuff. So we've definitely done that. So I definitely think we could start to see move down, and you can see we're seeing a bit of resistance now nearer the bottom. It's hard to see. I know the chart's a bit. I should probably make this a bit darker to see. You know, let's just make it really dark for now. I'll put it back. I know, I'm sorry, I've blinded you guys. I'm sorry. But you can see with this, you can see this is kind of the bottom line. And you can see we're printing at the bottom line with this one especially. I should probably just zoom in. Hopefully you guys can see we are on Bitcoin. I should probably just put the chart. I know Mike was saying put the name somewhere, but it's kind of hard to do that. I know what I'll do. Genius idea. I'm a genius. Watch this, ready? I'm such a genius. Wait. I'm so smart. I'm so smart. Watch this, ready? I'm so smart. I'm just a genius. This is just like not. Oh yeah, I have a news article up thing. I'm just so smart. Look at this. The ingenuity is genuinely. I just even got the time frame there. Look at this. Ingenuity is just. Honestly, I'm like Alan Turing. In time of struggle, I just come out. There you go. Look at that. Anyway, I'm joking, by the way. I'm not that big of an ego. I don't talk about myself in the third person or anything like that. Trust me. But anyway, going back to it. Anyway, whatever. We are definitely putting in the process of starting to come down, especially with all these. I know it's very hard to say. I do apologize. We do have this order block. You can't really see it. It's too dark. We do have this temporary support, but again, you know, in this whole process, I don't think this is going to hold as strong as all this shebang we've got going up here, especially with this rejection block from this gap, which we can see we've come to the midpoint, coming up towards it now. We've just got this whole process above us, which I just think is going to, I think is going to hold pretty nicely. We have, on different time frames, we have this rejection block, which again, I've already talked about as support. But, it'll take its time to, okay, now I can zoom back out now. It'll take its time to start to play out. What I will do actually is I'm going to highlight all this. I can't quite do that. I know. Watch this. Ready? Okay. Let's just find the first instance. Here we go. This. I'm going to group it. I'm going to group. I'm going to lock. I'm going to hide. There we go. So we don't have to look at it. Perfect. I'm a genius. There we go. So yeah, like I said, stick on the 4 hour actually. So yeah, and it even shows it looks really good. Like it looks really good. Unless we have a massive wick up again. On the idea. Well, how spend it? Okay, I've got 5 minutes. I'll speed it up. I need to do Ethereum, Solana, and whatnot. And I see actually you guys are I'll look at the chat in a second. I've ignored you guys. I've just abused you. I've put you in the attic and pretend you're not there. I'll look at the chat in a second. But it looks really nice. I think it looks really nice. This looks really nice, especially from the midpoint. We haven't had a body past the midline once. I think it looks very nice. So I definitely think we're showing good sign to move past this. But, something I do want to focus on as well is on the 4 hour anyway, is the potential of... I've already drawn this, but I think I deleted it or something. But there we go. If I just do this quickly, there we go. There we go. Perfect. So kind of just looking at what we can do next in terms of our move down. Some of these are very bad. This one's not bad actually on the 1 hour. I might even shimmy this down a bit, because the one I've got on the 4 hour is really awful. There we go. So we do have a gap down there. So now we're just looking for, okay, cool. If we are on the process down, even though we are kind of in a downtrend and we do want to aim for, okay, cool. If we don't do any new highs, which we haven't yet on the daily anyway, we haven't done any new highs. Again, this is just normal process of it's just this at the end of the day, okay, let's just I'm kind of cheating if I look at that. I know this is like a bull flag, but because obviously we've come from here and on the weekly we're doing this, but on the weekly we need to do this anyway. In terms of this, we need to do this down. I've already talked about this. We need to come down to here. This is my opinion, whatever. So looking at let's say we talk about it on the general from this. Shoot me, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying anything which isn't crazy. And obviously people are like, oh, well, it's a bull flag. Oh, it's just a bull flag. Why are you worrying? It's just a bull flag. It's gonna take us all the way to. It's going to take us to 135k. I actually saw this. I actually saw 135k or 136k on my timeline. I saw this actually, but it's I don't know. I don't think so. And I know Mike has started to change his mind as well in terms of coming down. I definitely know that. So I think we need one more move down. I think personally, and this is on the weekly, so it's a bit of a hard time frame. So again, things can change, but it's and again, the weekly, it's okay, cool. Coming from this period, wait, give me a second. Oh, it's gonna be black now. Oh no, it's not. I don't like this color. Hold on, I'm customizing. No, I don't like that. Let's do a 20. I'm still working on it. Okay, there we go. So it's like, okay, this move, boom. Let's say we do it from the gap. Let's say we come to like the worst end. Obviously, we have to look at it on the time frame. It's about there. This brings us towards 100. That was one of my prices a long time ago. Obviously, if you've been here, it's about 125k, 126, something like that. I could probably bring this back up and look at it again. This is a bit of a throwback. I believe it might have been on this one. I haven't done the math in a while. I haven't looked at these ranges in a while. Yeah, it's about here. It's about this 125 line I was looking at on the weekly. It might even be on this one. Just looking at the wider ranges. What I do want to do, though, to be fair, is get rid of these stupid midlines. These awful midlines. Awful midlines. Whatever. I'm not gonna do this. This isn't what we're here for. But back when I was using the ranges quite a bit, I've kind of died down because like it made the charts really ugly. I didn't want to use them anymore. Wait. Yeah, so one of the lines I had a long time ago when I was just kind of theorizing about the move up was 125. What I also do want to do is the standard deviation from this to this to see if we can figure out the next high, because I think I tested that out a bit ago, and you know what? I didn't really pay attention to see if it worked because I didn't really pay attention to it. But I did test the standard deviation. I don't have it up with me, so I'm not gonna bother. But I did have it up. Yeah, I mean, again, like coming from let's say the midline to stop it here, it's like, okay, cool. It's like, I don't think it's too crazy to say, like, even if we get, okay, best case scenario, it's like, even shimmied up a bit. That's 129k. That's bigger than what I thought. So even if it's like midline-ish, like not worst case scenario, that's 126.7, which is the exact line I just showed, which is about 126.7. So it's like, I still think the market will be in a good situation if we had that 90k retracement, whatever it is, 88k I know Mike was saying, which I do have within this range. It obviously sits about 93k. Obviously, of course, the daily, there's different areas within this. It's about 91k, 90k, but it's a basically 88k-ish, which is the consistent price I kind of have for this, which it then sits at about 125.23. It's very close to the line I've already talked about, quite a while ago. So it's like, I think we can do this retracement without it being too crazy. And again, I've already drawn this. If I draw it on the daily, it's the same thing I draw on the weekly. But it's like, okay, cool. It's like, yeah, we are finding support down here. Yeah, definitely we're coming down. But we're in this process of this move down. You can see, if we look here, yeah, there's probably an order block down here. You can see we came past this. We retraced. There's definitely an order block down at 78. But that's not what I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on this, which on the weekly is this gap. It's very ugly, but you can see it. It's that gap. So this is what I'm focusing on. Because, yeah, cool, we have stuff down here. We have stuff in here, which we're obviously on the lower time frames using. Because, again, it makes sense. On the lower time frames, we have smaller swings, which means we have smaller premium discounts, which means we have more chance of these being in a premium or discount. But on the higher time frames, this is the wider kind of low to high we've had to expect a retracement to here. And again, I'm gonna bore you guys. For you guys who have been here Tuesday and last time, I'm gonna bore you guys because I've drawn this like 3 times. I've looked at it so many times. If we come from, let's say it's this low, I think it was that low I used. Look, this is what we did. Like, this is, I'm not making this up. I'm not saying, oh look, I'm so great. I'm not making this up. It's so good. But it's like, okay, in this area, what would I focus on? Well, I could look at this rejection block from this gap here. We used it, rejection block. You can see if I was to draw the rejection block, we can see we came to the midpoint and then came off. So this could be a good support point. 53k though, Okay, what's next? We have a tiny gap here, 64k. No. Okay, I don't want to dismay it. I'm not saying, oh, I'm being picky or whatever. But it's like, okay, this was our previous high. The singular candle, which printed above it to form us back up into the uptrend, was this candle which produced this gap. And commonly, it depends if you do like whatever. Obviously, there's so many different terms for the same thing. Liquidity gap candles or displacements, all this sort of stuff. Okay, but one of the main common things I see a lot, depending on how you want to frame it, is the print past a high to form you into a shift of, okay, we're in a downtrend, we're now in an uptrend. Now we're in this uptrend. Is the candle which produces that gap is going to be a very strong, if it has a gap, it's going to be very strong, and if you come to it, it's probably more than likely going to be a very good support point. So then obviously it's like, okay, cool, from this trend, it's like, we then found a high, you just trail it until you find the high, and okay, we found the high, and we've printed past this, we're now going to look at where we can come to. And obviously you can see we then filled the rest of this and then we came up. So I'm just applying the same concepts back here with this move from, you know, April 25 to here. You know, just this, it's a very fast move to be fair. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, you know, in terms of the move, it's like we've printed past some lows. You know what I'm saying? So it's then looking for, okay, if we start to continue this move down, looking at where we have, well, the only main one I really see, I mean, I don't really think this is much, I mean, we're on the weekly, but the only thing I see is this. So that's really what I'm focusing on. I know I'm yapping on it. I'm going to look at the chat now, though. I'm going to look at the chat because it's been a long time since I've done that. Even TKB, shout out to you. Hidden Genders, the bounty hunter of the quizzes on the Wednesday. Okay. You know, I just comes in and wins and just, you know, leaves in the dark. What I would say though, actually, if you're someone who doesn't want to do the quiz because you want to give chance to everybody else, I'm not trying to name anyone here, but you know who you are. We're doing Corgi AI next week. I know you weren't there on Wednesday. We're doing Corgi AI, or Corgi AI, I think it is actually. Yeah, I think it's Corgi AI because it's corgis. We're doing that as the kind of topic of the quiz. So again, fresh eyes from everybody here, or fresh for everybody here. We've never covered that on stream. So obviously, if you were to play a quiz, you know, just to give everybody a little heads up there. Mags, shout out to you, Mags. Kabir, Singh, shout out to you, man. I believe who was it again? It was Hidden Agendas. Was it you? Who was in top 3 and then Indano or Chevron? I think that was the top 3. I think so. Again, shout out to you again for winning. Simon, pump or dump. I'm a negative Nancy. All right, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm looking at it on high time frames. You know, again, I'm not on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, I mean, obviously, I've already looked at the 1 hour, and you know, what I'm saying I've already looked at the 1 hour. I've already talked through this. You know, this. I've already talked through this. You know, I think we're coming down. We've come to this. We've done this. I think we're coming down. Whatever. But I mean, yeah, dump. But I'm not saying, you know, dump. To me, the way I interpret dump is a very, you know, is like the way I interpret dump is like a single candle doing that. You know, you know what I'm saying? I don't. It's not. It's a move down. You know, I think we'll come down. I don't think it's a dump per se. But in terms of negative or positive, I'm negative. When you're back on the show, KB, that's true. We haven't done a talk in a while, and it'd be good to see because again, a lot of things have happened since we last did a stream. It'd be nice to do a stream again. They would be good to do. Obviously, you said you've been busy yourself. Yeah, absolutely. I'll be there next week, 100%. Good. I'm glad. It's been a while. We actually had how many people did we? I think we had quite a lot of people last stream. But you know what? I'm happy with it now because I think we've really got a theme going down now. Obviously, it's a bit more of a pub quiz now. We've definitely got a theme going on now. It's apart from the occasional like edge case bug, it's pretty consistent. You know, I'm happy for it. The only thing is obviously latency between people, but again, it's like something you just really can't control. But I'm happy. I'm happy. It's fun. I have a lot of fun doing them. I'm not gonna lie, I do have a lot of fun. But yeah. Over on Bitcoin, I do actually want to quickly look at this though, because I know there was talks on Tuesday when I did the stream. There were talks of the ceasefire. There was definitely I think it was the UN, Iran and Israel meeting. I don't know. It seems like that didn't happen. It's like I was in like a twilight zone and I read it and it was like, oh, the UN representatives are meeting, or whatever it was. I can't remember the exact terminology, but they're meeting together and they're going to talk about ceasefire. And now I've looked at Iran, Israel on news and I'm trying to scroll through and find it. And there's been no mention of it at all. So I'm trying to find to see if there was, you know, progress on the ceasefire and all this sort of stuff. I think there is. Because they're talking like post-match, if not to be desensitive to the situation. Obviously, people have, you know, whatever. But post-match statistics, they're talking about success and all sorts of stuff. So it's kind of like the outcome of things. So I do believe it's near the end, or something. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think so. I don't know. I mean, it's like it never happened. It's like what we read on Tuesday, which is like, oh, they're gonna do a ceasefire, guys. It's gonna be positive. It's gonna end. It's just nothing. I can't find it, so I don't really know what the current exact situation is right now. I don't know the live situation on what's going on. I'll try go around Israel again, see if I can like find something else. But I've tried my hardest to find something which mentions anything with mentions anything of a ceasefire, but I really... There we go. Oh, here we go. Okay, let's see. Okay. I don't care about that. Right, okay, so yeah, it's like, no, basically, nothing happened, alright? So, whoop-de-doo, who cares? Let's move on before I spend 50 minutes on Bitcoin. Let's just go here. Okay, so it's been a while. Also, I'm on a new theme, so I'm going to have to redraw the chart because it's been a while. But again, I remember what I drew. I'm not old, okay? I'm not an old man. I remember what I drew, majoritively. I believe I mean, I hope I remember. I think I remember. I don't doubt myself here, but I'm pretty sure I remember what I covered. Oops. No, that's just not what I want to do, is it? Oh, it's messy now. I'm losing focus. It's messy. Hold on. Let's okay. Wait, what? I've done it twice. Oh no, I haven't. I'm stupid. Oh, man. I've got to get used to the colours. I'm going to remove that line. I don't care. I'm removing the line. I can't see anything. And then this, and then this. I think it was this, right? There we go. Oh, isn't that just beautiful? Look at how nice that was. Came into the discount. Touched it by a teeny bit. Turning off. Ooh, there we go. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Obviously, you know, in this process of moving, we've had a cheeky little, you know, use of some of these cheeky gaps. So you can see on the midpoint of this one, very nice. But again, you know, it's kind of like you can. It's like passing the ball back and forth. It's like you can use it again. So deleting this, it's like, okay, we've done this, we've retraced, boom. So it's like, okay, we've now had this move up. We've come to this point up. We're in a downtrend. We've come to this point up. We've come into a point of interest. We've come past all these lows, really, though. And now we're like, okay, cool. Well, we've had this move up. Looking to move down. It would be, you know, we've got this again. We can't ignore this, especially with this going on here. Slightly residing below discount, so maybe filling the entire thing. If I were to go to some lower time frames, we could potentially see, you know, tiny gaps here and there. Especially this, though. To be fair, we do have this in my eye line, which is candle which came into this point of interest. Hair in my mouth. Point of interest. Recovery immediately. We're definitely gonna have something there. I'm gonna delete the gap for now, even though we could, you know, it's just to clear the chart up a bit. We have this gap definitely there. Let's go back to the 4 hour. In terms of what else we could focus on, if we go to daily. Well, this also resides. We can see we've come into the interest within this candle, massive recovery back upwards. So definitely sitting on this as well. So let me delete this and just have this higher one for now. So now going back to the 4 hour, we have support in this area, you know, residing about 2260. So we've got something. Okay, just to focus on the trend. But again, I've mentioned it on Bitcoin as well. If we are in a move down, you want to focus on the extremities of the lows. So instead of me looking for, retrace to support and then move up past the highs, it's like we've already done this with this move, which is instead of coming to the lows to find support and moving up and whatever, we come to the highs and find resistance from previously printing past these lows with this whole move. This whole move basically spawned this move down, which spawned us, you know, not in a downtrend because we're already in a downtrend from this high, but confirmed the new lower low and whatnot. Just drawing this to find the resistance on the way back upwards, and now we should then aim for, if we're in this downtrend, the next low, which is going to be this one, which also comes back into this weekly gap, so to continue back down into it. So I don't think we're finishing this. I think obviously we've come down, but I definitely think we could continue lower in this. But even with this, it's like we're not really focusing on this. This is, again, lower time frame. So this, we've already, again, I'm not trying to doom and gloom here, and I don't think this necessarily happens. I think this is definitely, I don't think, because again, we don't go down forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't go down forever. It's like, okay, cool. It's like, oh, well, we could have, you know, this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, not head and shoulders. Well, it is head and shoulders, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? It was technically not, because it has to be like that. The line has to, I don't think it does that, because I think the line has to come like this or something like that. Whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think, do we really come to... Oh, actually, no. I'm not going to write that off because, you know, if I'm talking about 88k Bitcoin and I'm like, oh, I don't think we can come to 1400 Ethereum, I'm foolish, aren't I? You know, I'm stupid. I'm going to have to stick my guns here. Stick to my guns, or there's like many phrases I can use. Stick to my guns here, okay? If I'm talking about 88, 90k Bitcoin, I'm pretty sure I can talk about 1400 Ethereum. You know, this isn't like, you know, out of the realm of possibility. And I know a lot of people are very negative. Obviously, you know, let me draw this as well, just to like show it on the screen. There we go. Ooh, isn't that nice? Isn't that just so nice? With these lows, isn't that just so nice? Anyway, yeah. So, and obviously we've had these previous thingies over here as well. What is this actually? Oh, well, this is just this, but opposite, isn't it? And then we have this kind of high sweep. That's just this. Now that I really just kind of focus, you know what I'm saying? That's just that at the end of the day. Let me hide this. Can't see anything. And then what's this? What is this? Oh, whatever. That's, okay. This, obviously, well, technically not really. If we actually just look at it, yeah. I was trying to find a new thing. It's not. I'm trying to find new tech. I'm not finding new tech. This is what I drew on thing. This is what I was focused on. I was like, okay, cool. We have this kind of temporary relative equal lows or relative equal highs, which have come up, and then obviously we have a massive dump from there. So we have these highs potentially. I would have mainly looked at this though. To be fair, I'm not gonna lie. I would have mainly looked at that gap, but obviously this is something. It's like you basically just line up everything on this whole thing going on here. But yeah. Anyway, I've already looked at this. But anyway, I'm gonna delete this, and I'm not. Oof. I'm gonna delete this. We don't need this on the screen because it's not gonna help us. I'm gonna go to the 4 hour and I'm gonna do more talk on what is happening. I've already kind of I'm deleting everything. Whatever, I'm deleting everything. Okay, cool. And then I'm gonna redraw what I just drew. Okay, cool. Yeah. So back to this. Okay. So again, drawing the premium discount. I think we've already done this. Again, coming into this first gap from this move down, come up into it. We're kind of hovering now. Again, we haven't really truly done our thing. You know, kind of like a thing going on. We have maybe. Oops. Let's do 15-minute. Let's not do 15-minute actually. 1 hour. 1 hour. Here we go. 1 hour. Boom. Perfect. So this is kind of like, okay, cool. Very similar to what we have with Bitcoin, where it's like boom. Again, market maker, this, that, the other model. You know, whatever. Market maker like backflip, Judas Cup, golden swingerding model. You know what I'm saying? So whatever. I'm not doing that, but you know. We've already used this one. This is the kind of first presented on the move down. And this is also this kind of the idea of this market maker type of whatever the hell swingling model, you know, this super Bronchosaurus model is the idea that you come back into for the, and again, this is a pattern. Again, out of chart patterns and the whole sphere of chart patterns, a lot of them are a obfuscation of a market move. But the one which obviously is very surface level and, you know, you can't really, I'm not saying you can't argue with it per se, but it's just something which is like, okay, it's a very common occurrence. Let's just like pretend this. I mean, you know what I mean, though. You know, I'm just trying to give an example here. Let's see this candle. Yeah, like, look at that candle. Perfect. But it's like, okay, right shoulder. This is the swingerding. You know, come up into this area. Off you go, model. So it's like, okay, you know, this is. It's giving reason for a move in the market. So it's like, okay, then now we're aiming for this. So it's like, okay, well, from the high to the low, this is in premium. I would be, and this is on the 1 hour, I would be aiming for here, and then I would be aiming for a larger move down in this whole shenanigan down towards some of these lows again. And again, to be fair, I've already talked about this. We're in a downtrend. I wouldn't just be aiming for these lows. Deleting this now. Done. I'll be aiming for this low. I don't know if I don't know if I'm being too negative here. I might be missing something on the charts. You know, there might be something somewhere, somehow I'm missing, which is actually very positive. I'm a foolish idiot, and I should be talking about this instead because I'm, you know, this and the other. But this is just what I can see of this local scope of what we have for Ethereum. And again, even on the wider scope on the weekly, we've printed past the lows massively. Apart from Bitcoin, Solana and Ethereum have come past their lows drastically and printed very heavily. And now I think we're just doing our lower high to then come back down towards the lows again, which is again 1400. And if I'm talking about 90k, I don't think it's too hard to look at a wick below 90k. Oh, we wick below it. We haven't printed, and now we're doing a higher low, and now we're doing a higher high, and then off you go. We're now pumping, and it's bull run, all this sort of stuff. September time, we're $4,000 Ethereum. You know, I don't think, but focusing on what we have right now, you know, this is just what I'm looking at. You know, it's like, okay, cool. Well, just to see what patterns could have formed, we have this move. We have this kind of move above this high. From this, we have this move into this gap, which was resistance. We have this wick, which obviously came above. We had, I mean, we've already used the rejection block. We had this rejection block. You can see came towards the midpoint, came down again, which obviously within this move, we see we filled this, the rest of this gap. Obviously, we used this already, came down. We had this outstanding. We used it, retraced. I think we must have some support down here. Let's go have a little nosy. Let's see what we've got going on. We have a sweep past this and move up. So this definitely has recovery from this move. So I definitely think this is an order block. So then if we draw this along, you can see consistent support, this midline, boing, 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 boing. So again, yeah, very good order block there. So that's what we have on the one. That's the reason why we came down and didn't really move too much, because we had an outstanding order block. Came up again, came past this high, came to this gap, came down again, which it then is now forming this kind of head and shoulders thing, this, that, and the other, whatever, going back to the 1 hour, having this premium discount move. This is in premium, looking like we're going upwards, looking at this gap as a focus, coming towards maybe 1480, and then probably I would expect to start to move down again. And again, this isn't just only on the 1 hour, as I've already talked about. This is on the 4 hour, but also if we zoom out, I believe the daily as well. Obviously coming from this move. Wait a minute. No. Yeah, no. Yeah, here it is. Yeah. This is it. This was the move. I deleted this though. This is the move coming up to this gap, then starting to aim towards the low, which is 2100. That is my theory. That's it. Shoot me. That's my opinion. Again, as I've already talked about. But I think that makes sense. I don't see why that wouldn't make sense of what we're doing. I get the idea that this is support, and yes, I would say it's support. And I definitely think coming into this 2300, we could see support there. Definitely on maybe on the 30-minute 1 hour time frame, definitely. But again, I think it'll just be a lower high as we continue to come downwards. You know, I don't think it's you know, whatever. I just think it's us continue to come downwards. But in theory, that is the move. It's like, okay, well, we're in this kind of move. Oh, there's my pen. There we go. You know, ever since I mean, to be fair, ever since this low we've now kind of been in this like true downtrend. But obviously, technically, we've obviously printed past this low, which technically would be as in downtrend as well. So whatever. But ever since kind of, let's see, this low and these highs, you can see it's like relative highs here, whatever. With these kind of rough lows, you know, this low and this low. It's like, okay, cool. We've already come to our relative area, or unless maybe you draw this and it's like, oh, well, we've come out of it. But no, you know, we haven't come above this high. We haven't come above this high. We haven't come above this high. And if you go back to the daily, which is obviously the main kind of bias builder malarkey thing going on, this whole move is just a complete move until 2800. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is like, you know, this is our move. You know, this is, you know, definitely our move. This is the break. This is the, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think we're coming down. You know, I don't think this is crazy or anything, but yeah, so that's kind of my opinion. That's my opinion on Ethereum. I do think we'll have a bit of a move up towards this area before we continue back downwards. But I'm just kind of looking at it now. I mean, this also kind of actually, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, no. I was trying to see if there's anything else like of importance focusing on, but no, not really. This is just kind of what it looks like to me. This is my opinion. I think this makes sense. So, about 10 minutes left. We are now going to jump on over to Solana. And again, Chaos Breeze, I've changed my thing. We don't have any charts, or don't have anything I've drawn, but not to fear, because I will draw it again, because I'm so brilliant at this everything. Well, actually, again, I said this, I'm not an old man. I remember what I said. I think what I was looking at was not a lower time frame. I think I was looking at this move. It must have been. It was here because it was this order block, because it was this low with this move below it, and then a recovery of the candle. It was this order block. Oops. It was this order block, which we didn't get, but obviously we're still in this downtrend. it was this move for the support. But again, I think this will be a higher low, and I think we'll continue on upwards. We do have this gap at the 220 mark. This is it's kind of just the move, but realistically, it's like, okay, we need to be doing a lower high, and it's like, unless we come past this low already. Again, this is 95, so it's like, you know, this is the relative. Okay, 1400 Ethereum, 88k Bitcoin, 95 Solana. It's kind of what I'm envisioning with this whole thing. You can see how tight that is on Solana. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. This was I talked. Yeah, I remember looking at those ages ago. A double shebang over here with these highs, this high and then this high. Wow, that is really cool. But yeah, you can see we're already in this downtrend. I mean, we're gonna hit this area. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna hit this area at some point soon. Like, does this look good? Like, does this look good to you? You know what I mean? Oh, oops. All right, let's go daily. So daily wise, it's like, okay, it starts to look a bit. Okay, daily wise, okay, cool. This is the move. Aiming to look at this area here. But if we then go to the daily, that was a weekly. If we go to the daily, we're then looking at this move. And I think definitely this order block is going to be support. So it's like, for me, it's you know, we're not technically, I mean, right now we're not in an uptrend, we're in a downtrend. In terms of the local scope, it's like we should be looking at here. Like, this is what we should be looking at. But I'm looking at it on the wider scale. But right now, obviously, we're looking to continue to come down, which we're doing right now. Obviously, coming towards this area for this move, and then it's like, okay, at this area, it's like, what do we have above us? We have this high probably to maybe look at. But other than there, we definitely have a rejection block at this area for sure. So there are things. Once we come back upwards, we could be resistance, but you know, it's like it depends on if we start to even get up to that period in the first place. And, you know, paying attention to what we have on the weekly, it's like, I definitely think we continue to come down with this whole thing. It's like, okay, and this is already kind of the form of this relative kind of, you know, move up, move down, come down towards these areas. And it's like, okay, cool. We do have potential other interesting areas below us, which we could focus on. I would probably draw this area coming from this gap, which is about $90, $85 as well from down there. So it's like, okay, similar with Ethereum, it's like, I think, you know, comparing what we have with Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Solana, obviously Bitcoin 88k, 90k, whatever it is exactly, we'll obviously see as we get there. Ethereum coming past, you know, about $1,400. Solana definitely coming past $95, but very relative close. We have this $90 mark, which I definitely think could be a bit of support. You roughly come to the midpoint, so it's about $85. I think could be extreme low. Again, extreme low for Ethereum, extreme low for Bitcoin. 88k, extreme low Ethereum coming past 400, maybe like 1350 to 1300. I'll have to actually look at it, to be fair. I haven't actually looked at what we have relative behind us. And then obviously Solana, it's like relative, I'd say about $85 could be a decent low. And apart from that, it's like there's not really much on that lonesome area. But then if we start to draw from the low, I mean, we could probably draw from back here, to be fair, as well. But it's like, okay, drawing from this low to this high, well, we've had previous points where we've kind of had the supports. You can see we didn't come to discount, so we continued to follow the high until we come back. We didn't come back again, so continue to follow the high, which is about here. And now we're starting to come down to discount. This was definitely an area to focus on. I definitely think this area is the next one to focus on. So from there, it's like, okay, cool. Then we draw this move down from this whole thing, and it's like, okay, cool. From there, it's let me zoom in a bit to the daily, actually. There we go. It's hard. It's actually there's a lot of lines that's really getting hard, and that's things like we haven't actually come into the premium of side of things to actually come upwards to then actually come downwards. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like we've had this move below a significant, what could be significant. Again, this is like, you know, we've already had this move past this low, which obviously brought us up a bit. We then had this extreme low, which then we came past, and then we start to come upwards. We didn't print, again, if we then zoom back onto the daily, we did print, but we then started to print past those. So this doesn't matter. We're still in this kind of down move. So I still think relative to right now, we are going to be coming down towards 124, 120 area for this whole move here. But, you know, I'm looking at it. It's different from Ethereum and Bitcoin, definitely, in the sense that it doesn't quite have the same With Ethereum's case, we came obviously on the daily time frame. We've had this support, but in Ethereum's case, we have these highs, for example, relative. Let's say we had something like these highs, which we came past, and then we came down. Bitcoin's case, obviously, we came past the highs, and now we're retracing. So it's similar for Bitcoin's case as well. Actually, Bitcoin's a different case. Bitcoin's an uptrend, so it's different there. You're aiming to come towards the lower area. But obviously in Solana's case, we haven't had that move above the premium to then continue downwards to aim for these lows. But at the same time, we've printed past these lows. We could be doing a lower high with this extreme here. And again, this was back when there was I think there was a Trump thing, maybe back here, I can't remember exactly what it was. So it's like, if we start to aim towards these lows, if we don't do a higher low and a higher high, you know, are we going to be aiming towards here? Or are we going to be coming down again? So, you know, it's one of those things. I don't think Solana will necessarily move. It's only, I mean, I've had many streams where I've looked at CoinMarketCap and Solana's been doing something completely different than Ethereum and Bitcoin. And there might be certain things which have happened in Solana's ecosystem which have caused it to move differently. But, you know, it's like the question for me would really realistically be, in this period at some point soon when things are seeing these extreme lows, is Solana going to be seeing extreme lows? I would think so as well. So for me, I would have to take a kind of, not assumption per se. Well, technically, no, this is the high, because it's like I could move the high to here. That's not the line I wanted to draw. Moving the high to here, then it's like it makes sense then, because it's like, okay, cool, coming up into this area for this gap, which we then filled. Gives us reason, you know, this gives us reason for this move down. But it's like technically you follow the high, so it's like, and on the daily, it's like this is the move up, and this then it should be then this is the move down, and we don't actually have that. We don't have that move above premium. So again, it's more of a general rule of thumb. And regardless of what I'm talking about right now, I do think it would be following course with, you know, Ethereum and Solana seeing their, or Ethereum and Bitcoin seeing their extreme lows. And again, to then, instead of looking at, okay, what we actually going to do, we can go up or down, you know, in the higher time frame, it's more so for me then going to be, are we looking at what low are we going to be looking for? And then for me, that is, okay, coming past this low, we're clearly, regardless of what I'm looking at here, we're in a downtrend. We're looking to do a lower high, regardless of where we are exactly, and then print past this low and see another extreme low, which for me would be coming towards about $85, you know, $80. I mean, I think maximum, I don't think we would come to the low. I think it would be midpoint $85, pretty much nearly on the nose there. For me, that's just realistically the point I see for Solana for its extreme lows. I have maybe a minute and a half left, so I'm going to go on to the 1 hour, 4 hour, and give a little bit of a commentary on the relative time frame, and then we can leave it there. Because obviously I've talked about Ethereum relative time frame. I think we go up and then come down. Bitcoin, I did as well. I think we could said we've already printed past some lows. I think we're coming down on Bitcoin. We'll see with Solana. So I think Ethereum's coming up a tiny bit for that gap. Bitcoin, I think we're coming down. We've already started to print past the lows. Solana's case, let's have a look. So this is the kind of the clear extreme high to the low. You can see we've already come up into this at the premium, and now we're starting to come down again and try to print past these lows. We already had this gap, so it's like, okay, cool. For us, it's we are in a downtrend, clear cut. Pens here. You can see it's like, okay, cool, low, high, you know, low area, if you will, I guess. I mean, technically this is a high, but it's not high. You know, lows, the lows again, high. We technically broke the highs, but we've done a low again, so it doesn't really matter. On the grand scheme of things, it's like, okay, this is the low, this is high, this also could be a low, this could be a high, this could be low, high. So it's like, okay, cool. If you just looked at it here, this is our trend. We are looking at highs to lows. So then for me, it's like, okay, we're looking to come into the previous move and then come past the high, or the low, in this case the lows, because we're in a downtrend. So okay, we've had this period of coming to this. For me, I wouldn't be looking at, okay, well then in this move, and let's cascade downwards, we're looking at longing at $131. It's, for me, it's like, okay, now if we delete this and look at it coming down, it's looking to come past these lows. What do we have here? What is this? What was this again? This is the weekly order block, right? Okay, so this is, so yeah, like as I've already been talking about, this is the weekly order block. I'm gonna delete this actually as well. So this is the weekly order block I've already been talking about. You know, on the other thing, saying I think we can come down to here. So it's like, okay, continuing this trend downwards, if we don't break above this and come up, and obviously, technically this is a high. It's like, high. Actually, no, it's not. It's not at all. This is the previous high. This is definitely the high of coming into the area. So it's like, okay, unless we print past $159, and we've already found the resistance, we've already come into premium, we're already showing signs of coming down. Obviously, we have these gaps, which apart from that, we're pretty much in a straight line right down to $126. And apart from there, it would be printing past these lows towards this $120 area. So it's like from there, it's like coming down again. So I think we're coming down. We've already hit. So Ethereum's case, we haven't hit this area again. We had that kind of premium area. Bitcoin, we've hit this area in terms of the order block I've shown. But in Solana's case, we've hit the area with this whole gap. We filled it nearly to the dot with this whole thing. I suppose on the lower time frame, it is to here. We've kind of already done this, but where was it actually? Hold on. Oh no, well, technically, actually no. It's this. This is the move. Technically. So you can see we're kind of coming down. Even though these are wicks, this is the body. You can see we've just done the new 4-hour candle. If you go to the 1 hour, you can see we've started to print below already. So on the 1 hour anyway, we're already showing signs of coming down. 4 hour, we've just printed, and you can see the candle didn't quite print below the low. So technically, we haven't come past the low. But we're definitely coming past right now. On the 1 hour for sure. 30-minute, all these time frames, we're definitely coming past right now. With this print, come up, come down, we're definitely coming down. So I definitely think we're continuing the retracement for Solana. Definitely towards aiming for the lows again. And I'm gonna go quickly go on to I know I've 2 minutes over. I'm gonna go quickly over to Ethereum just to re-show what I was talking about again. With this, it's like, okay. I think we are, because again, we're in this kind of process of doing this kind of whole thing, with this. Or coming, well, actually, it would be coming from like this, I think it was this candle towards this high, this, and then this. It was that move, basically. And it's like, okay, to continue to follow this reversal kind of, it's technically just a reversal of an uptrend to a downtrend. It's like, okay, if you're doing this, and it's like, okay, you have the high, and you do a lower high, and you do a lower low, it's like, okay, this is head and shoulders. So it's like, this is I think the reversal of, this previous move. It's like, okay, the high again. It's like, okay, now we've done this high. It's then just kind of figuring out if we're going to do another lower high and then come down again. So for me, that would be aiming for this midpoint, as I've already talked about. And then Bitcoin's case, as I've already looked at, it's there we go. It's printing past these lows, printing past this, obviously retracing, and then it's kind of the next point would be coming down and continuing downwards again for Bitcoin. But regardless of that, right now anyway, we're doing pretty nicely, I think, on this whole thing going on. Definitely aiming for, I believe this is on the 1 hour, whatever it was. Aiming for this gap, definitely at about 102.5K. To see what we could do there. But again, it depends on what we do, but I definitely think on the 1 hour we are showing signs of having that period of reversal. It's not very similar to head and shoulders. Again, it depends if we start from here or whatever we start at. But if it is from there, it's like, okay, well, this is the gap. We've come up into it, and now we're just kind of waiting on this period of retracing down to this line. Once we come past I'm not saying this is set in stone, but once we start to come past this area about 106K and we start to actually properly print some more lows, that's the reversal for Bitcoin to start to come down. And then from there, it's like we've had normal price action. There potentially might be some areas, but really realistically looking at it, maybe on the 4 hour, it's like there's not really much to look at until we see some of these gaps down here. Definitely this big one as well, and that's the thing. It's like, to be fair, that's not what we look at. It's this is on the relative time frame. This is the move. On the daily, like this was the move for the daily, which we've already come to, and then aiming for the lows down here. Or not down here, down here. But so to wrap it up, as I've already talked about, I definitely think we could start to aim towards some lows for Bitcoin. Well, not like extreme lows in terms of to start to come down anyway. I definitely think Solana's going to hit that area, $120, 124, whatever it was exactly, which I talked about on Tuesday. I definitely think we're aiming. We haven't shown a single sign of coming up. We haven't hovered. We haven't crowd. We haven't done highs and lows and highs. We haven't done any. We're just going down. So I think we're showing signs very soon of coming towards that area. for Solana, unless something different happens, unless I'm missing something on my charts. Obviously, not financial advice. This is my opinion. All this sort of stuff. But yeah, as what I have on the charts, this is what we have going on. So that is pretty much it for the stream. The alt tab quickly there we go. That's it for the stream. Yeah, appreciate you all for being here. I will be back on Saturday, leaving a gap from Friday to Saturday, see what happens and how the charts transpire. I'll also be back on Tuesday after that, and then back on Wednesday. So Mike is back on Friday. I'm back on Saturday. He's not back on Saturday. And then obviously Sunday we don't have a stream. He'll be back on Monday. I'll be back on Tuesday. And then we'll both be back on Wednesday for the Corgi AI quiz pub, whatever the hell you call it. And again, I'm very interested for that one, actually. Obviously I've been excited for these ones, the Mew ones, Maple, all this sort of stuff, and Wolfswap. But it's questions and it's project we've seen before, we've done before, and all this sort of stuff. But the main thing for me is Corgi AI is like, no one's looking at this, in terms of we're not looking at it on our channel. Like, we haven't done any videos or anything like that. We've obviously talked about it yesterday, and I'm talking about it today to give you fair warnings if you want to go look into the project, values, numbers, just information which we can ask about. Obviously, not saying you have to go study for anything, but it's something we haven't covered before. So it's going to be an interesting quiz, I think, because it's going to be fresh eyes for most people. So I'm very interested to see how it goes on Wednesday. So other than that, I'll be back on Saturday. Mike's be back tomorrow in the morning. And I'm working on something for the Telegram, working on a little bot. So you might see a new addition to the Telegram soon with some functionality. So stay tuned in the Telegram for that. Shout out to you all. If something transpires on the charts really, really badly, I will post a screenshot of it and talk about it a bit. So if that doesn't happen, then I'll just wait till Saturday, which again is literally till Friday. Unless something big happens on Friday, I'll just see you guys on Saturday for the next stream. So again, I do think we will be aiming for some of these areas. I don't think I'm thinking about the charts now retroactively. I don't see any other scenarios right now unless we just have something which really displaces us above these periods and breaks us out. I think we're going to be doing these moves, and pretty much across the board, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana moving down. So yeah, we will see. Shout out to you all. Appreciate you all. Thank you for sticking by on the stream. Mike's be back tomorrow. I'll be back Saturday, and that's it. I'm not going to keep you guys any longer. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great sleep. Have a great whatever time zone you're in. And yeah, goodbye.